Hello, welcome back. It is Ave Explores live here on the Ave Maria Press Instagram page, It'll be posted on Facebook later on, but we are live on the Ave Maria Press Instagram page. So happy, so grateful that you're joining us on this second Monday of Advent. It's hard to believe. Maybe it's just because I've had a crazy a few days. I was in New York last week and now I'm back and I've got some sick kids. I'm sure Valerie and I will chat all about the chaos that perhaps the Advent season is. We are so happy that you are joining us for the second week of our Ave Explores live series here on the Ave Maria Press Facebook page. We are walking through Adore by Father John Burns and illustrated by Pax.Valerie here on Instagram, Valerie Delgado. She's going to join us in just a moment. If you don't know what we're doing here on the Ave Explores live that we're doing here on the Ave Maria Press Instagram page, every week during Advent here on Monday, right now, we hop on, we have a little conversation about the theme of the week, and then we color together. And if you think coloring, well, Monday is kind of a crazy day, and sometimes taking a moment to just rest and reflect and to let's call it our artistic journaling, if you were. Adore, of course, is a journal, but you can color along with the images that Valerie has provided for this book. If you go over to Ave's website, and you can find the link in the Ave Maria Press Instagram bio, just click on the link tree. You can download the image that we're going to be working with today. Valerie's going to tell us all about it. She's going to join us in just a moment. She is the illustrator behind this incredible book that we are journeying with. If you didn't know this, by the way, we're doing the images here on Ave's Instagram page. You can click on over to our podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Ave Explores and you'll find it. And we have been talking through the themes of this book with various authors and friends of Father John Burns, Sarah Swafford, Heather Kim. Next week, we've got a pretty great guest joining us on the podcast. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. And here on the live, we are chatting with Valerie about how her Advent is going, about the image associated with this week. So joining us live, we have Valerie Delgado. She's going to join us live in just a moment. We always have to fingers crossed that the technology works in this precise moment. It always makes me very nervous. There she is. And
Hello.
Yay. How are you, Valerie?
Good. How are you?
Good. Crazy things around here. It's the second week of Advent. So, Of course, the wheels are falling off all of the proverbial wagons. How is your Advent going?
Oh, man. It's been good. I feel like it's going by strangely quickly.
Yeah.
I realized this morning that I'm behind on my journal already. I'm like, oh no, because I was traveling this past weekend, so I didn't get to go to my normal mass and had my normal routine. So I spent a little bit of time trying to play catch up on my journal, because that's just how it is sometimes.
I'm right there with you. We had to not go to mass yesterday because we had sick kiddos, and I'm like, we are not spreading pink eye and bacterial infections around. Merry Advent, everybody. Here's conjunctivitis. We were not about to do that. But the journal actually helped me celebrate the second Sunday of Advent. We're not at the third just yet. We're just on the purple candles. Yeah. We have, much to my daughter's chagrin, that we cannot yet light the pink candle, but we're getting there. We're getting there quickly. Well, the second week of Advent, Father John and you really help us dig into the theme of preparation, of what it means to prepare. We were watching last week, now we're preparing. Tell us what that word means for you. What does preparation and the Advent season look like in your life?
Yeah, I feel like each season, specifically during the second week, I think a lot about Mary, our Blessed Mother, and in her preparation, and that helps me prepare also. Just thinking about those nights where she had to really prepare her heart and humble herself and ask for wisdom on how to be the mother of the Son of God, and just having to take that long journey to Bethlehem to bring Christ into this world. So I don't know, each season I think about ways that I can prepare my own heart. Like, what am I seeking? What am I needing from God? What do I need Christ to come into? And to just sit with that and then wait for that day to come. Jesus is born.
Yeah. I mean, we watch for what he's going to do, and then he might show us, and we actually have to get ready. I always think of week 2 of Advent as like Mary would have been nesting during this time. She would have been folding the burp cloths and prepping for the crib. And then, of course, she gets the notification like, hey, we got to go off to Bethlehem. And all of that gets thrown to the
Exactly. How hard it must have been to go into nesting mode when you're having to travel.
Right. You're
not give birth at home.
Exactly. So, well, and the image that you drew this week, we're gonna I'm gonna turn my camera around as you get situated to guide us through the color by number. But the image this week, I look at it and I think of the Blessed Virgin Mary, like taking a break on the road to Bethlehem, and like, Joseph, I need a second, babe. Like, that's the phrase that comes into my mind when I see this beautiful image. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so folks can see the star that is right there in the image itself, because I imagine that's an important component of the piece. But tell us a little bit, Valerie, about how you went about drawing this second week of Advent's image for the book.
Yeah. So again, Father John was still, currently writing the book, so I didn't have much to go on except for the initial themes for the week. And again, what stood out to me was just Mary's heart in preparation. So like you said, like I imagine her after a long day of walking, just like needing a sec to find that quiet place to sit as she, felt Jesus kicking in her womb, and just taking that time to thank the Lord for this gift, to thank him for allowing them to travel this far safely, and then to ask for his continued guidance and peace and wisdom as they continue to make this journey. So yeah, I like to call this one in my head like a quiet place, just her and the Lord. And throughout this book, to me, like the star just represents like God's presence and his light, like shining on them, guiding them, and leading them to that safe place.
Yeah. The colors again this week, and I apologize, my phone doesn't capture them as beautifully and as vividly as let me see if I can turn up the brightness on my computer screen. But there's such beautiful hues of the blue of the Blessed Mother, and even the trees almost look like Christmas trees, right? Like they almost have this like, hey, like this is what you'd find in Middle America, like a Christmas tree with your kids. My mom still has kept the little manger scene made out of toilet paper rolls from my kindergarten years. But this idea of Mary taking that moment, of taking a second to just kind of mentally prepare for what might have been another night on the road of, sleeping on the ground or sleeping with not particularly the best conditions for a pregnant lady who's about to give birth to the Son of God. Where did you start? I'm always curious about the process of an artist. Do you start with the sky? Do you start with the background? How did the image come to be?
So I started with Mary and her posture. That is what I could vividly picture in my head. I wasn't even really sure like where she was sitting, what her scenery was. I'm like, I picture her kind of stretching her back, feeling, Jesus kicking in the womb, and just like looking up, like tired but grateful. And so then from there, I had just read a story about the evergreen like Christmas trees and their meaning, and I was actually just at a conference where they mentioned it again, and how this like evergreen kind of symbolizes the fact that like Christ is with us forever. So I loved just tying that into this image in the scenery. On the coloring page, I did not get to outline the Christmas trees, but you can definitely see them in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's definitely it's like the first time my mom saw it, she said, "Oh, Mary's having Braxton Hicks." Like she is stretching out those pains, and but that's a reality that we don't. I mean, I think women definitely think about it, like the fact that there was labor pain, the fact that there was, and I mean, everybody, we talk about, of course, the virgin birth. We talk about the fact that Mary was without sin, and she would not have experienced the same pain as, say, I experienced, because I clearly have sin and she does not. But that idea of she in the same way that Jesus Christ is fully human, Mary is fully human, and
Right.
that she would have totally known, say, the stress of, is everything ready?
Right. And
The
yeah, and I think
yeah.
like whether or not she felt pain, like I think she still felt the pressure, the weight, all of it.
Oh yeah.
Whether it was, painful or not. I mean, we all have our own different levels of pain, but yeah, it's like she was human, she was mother, she felt it all.
Yeah. And then there's that idea too of, we relate to the Blessed Virgin Mary in so many different ways, whether you've had a child or not, the anxiousness, the anticipation of bringing Christ into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Mary felt that in a very concentrated way, like carrying the Son of God. But Father John gives us a quote. It's coming up at the end, not to spoil the journal for anybody, but you have it in front of you, hopefully, and you could see the quote. "What a joyous mystery is your presence within me, in that intimate sanctuary of my soul where I can always find you." A quote from St. Elizabeth of the Trinity. And it's almost kind of in the same way that Mary goes and places herself outside in the light of the star, the fresh air on her face, contemplating this reality of Christ within her. That's something that we're invited to contemplate in a very pointed way during Advent. What does your prayer look like during the Advent season? Do you light the candles at your dinner table? Are you living a liturgical life? I mean, how does your prayer really come to fruition during this season?
Yeah, so each Sunday, the minute I get back from Mass, that morning I come back and I light up my Advent candle, and I journal a bit using the Advent journal this year. I try to find some kind of journal or devotional each year. And I also like to read ahead during the week so that I can kind of sit with that and contemplate with that throughout the entire week. But during the week when things get a little bit crazier than on the weekends, I start my day with just prayer, Thanksgiving, journaling. And then I kind of write out like what my goals are for that week. Like what scripture passages do I want to read in the Bible? If there's a friend that I haven't checked up on, like schedule that in. And then just really enjoy the season and enjoy that anticipation of Christmas. Because I think that's definitely one of my favorite parts of the season.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about, just during the Advent season, do you find yourself maybe more inspired to create different images of art, like more things that are coming on your website? Do you find this is a lot of people, a lot of small business owners with the craziness of having to ship and having to send things? Do you find that this is more of I'm just going to rest and I'm not going to create a whole lot of different stuff? What does your creative process look like during the season?
Yeah, so Advent is one of my favorite seasons. It's one of my favorite seasons to just sit with and dream about, almost as I try to picture the Holy Family on their journey. So as a small business owner, it does get pretty crazy, especially with all the Black Friday and the Cyber Monday and all the other big sales that happen in the business world. But it's funny, like soon afterwards, there's just this calm, as people already are getting their gifts and things are dying down already a little bit. So it gives me a lot of time to just pray and create, because everything that I create stems from prayer. So if I'm not taking that time to just sit with the Lord and be in silent conversation with him, everything else would I think fall apart in my world. So just right now life is very peaceful, just being able to journey into Advent with this.
It's funny. I was having a conversation with another Catholic creator who, it's not a secret who I was talking to. I was talking to the guys from Sacrilegious, and they make Catholic socks. And so like they're selling footwear, as they would like to say. And,
right.
they talk about that. We were just chatting about the fact that fulfilling orders and putting packages together and making sure everything gets shipped out on time, so that people's Christmas mornings aren't necessarily ruined. You don't just have to give a picture of the present, but like, here's the real gift kind of thing.
Right.
But this friend was telling me that, like, with every package, there's a, we're praying for the person that will wear this pair of socks. I think the same thing would be true of people who write books and people who create art, right? Like, we're praying for the people who read these books and who will see these images, who will hang these images on their wall. I gave my sister an 8x10 of the cover image of the Adore book, and she has it hanging in her apartment, and she texted me and she said, it works perfectly. And I was like, good, I'm glad I gave it to you, because I'm running out of wall space in my house. and she said, it's really helping me enter into the season. And I think that's like the purpose, right? Like, what you're creating came from prayer, and so it's helping somebody pray. The socks that somebody might wear that have the image of a saint might be a moment of evangelization and teaching. It's all connected. And I almost wonder if, like, the Advent season is the perfect beginning of the liturgical year. It's the perfect season that really illustrates to us, like, there's intentionality in everything that we do, and maybe to be able to carry that intentionality into the new calendar year, to carry that intentionality, especially as things start to get a little crazier, or maybe as things don't get done the way that we want them to get done, or plans fall apart because people get sick, or whatever it happens to be. Can't go see Santa because of COVID, whatever doesn't go according to plan. So I guess maybe as we, like, wrap up our time together and folks are able to go continue coloring this image on their own, because this is always just a quick little shot in the arm for your Monday morning. Here's a lunchtime reflection. What are you really resolving to pay attention to the most in this second week of Advent?
I think what I'm probably going to be focusing most is just to be still, to not get caught up in the craziness of this season, to just find that quiet place, to sit in prayer with the Lord, and to just invite him into my heart, into the season, and to bring up whatever it is that he wants me to get from this week specifically. And to just have that time to invite him in, and to just sit and listen and wait before the Lord.
It's a great way to approach the second week of Advent. The second week of Advent, of course, being the I've heard it from different perspectives. I've heard it's the love week, and I've heard it's the peace week.
Right.
I'm going with it's the preparation week, because that's what Father John is leading us to. Keep coloring, Valerie. I'm going to wrap things up. One of the things that we wanted to do with this Ave Explorers series, and really try to dig into the themes of this book from Father John and Valerie Adore, is help us feel in community, right? We're reading this book together. We're journaling together. We're doing the art together. We're contemplating these images, a little Visio Divina together, because the hope is that, and maybe this is just because we're coming off of how many days that we've been under pseudo lockdown for COVID. We're coming into a phase of the year where people are definitely ready to get back to normal. We're maybe at this point of the holiday season, whether secular or liturgical, where things are getting a little more chaotic. We want people to feel unified in their journey through the story of salvation, and their journey through arriving at the newborn King in a tiny little manger, ready for us to approach him in a non-threatening way. There's nothing threatening about a baby. There's nothing intimidating about a baby. They're this tiny little helpless human that we are called to care for. And yet Jesus Christ comes into the world in that way. And so we'd encourage you to obviously take some time to go through Father John's book, Adore. It's one of the top-selling Catholic books on Amazon right now, which is a pretty incredible feat in the Catholic and in the publishing world. So you should grab a copy. You can get it from Ave Maria Press's website. It'll get to you in just a few days if you order it right now. We really encourage you to download the color by number pages that Valerie has made available to us, and use those as an opportunity and a chance for prayer. I've downloaded them, and Rose and I, my 4-year-old, are doing them together on the Sundays of Advent. St. Nicholas dropped off some paint pens for her this morning, so I'm sure we'll be painting our images later on. We've only got 4 colors, so we'll have to get a little creative. Mary might have green hair. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up happening.
There we go.
But if you want to join us through our walk through the Adore book, you can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. You can find them on our website over on AveMariaPress.com. You can sign up for our weekly emails. Of course, grab a copy of the book, download the color pages, share this IGTV when it's available in just a few moments. And we're so grateful that you joined us today. And we hope you have an incredible second week of Advent as we continue to prepare our hearts for the coming of the newborn King. Happy Advent, everyone. We'll be back next week at the same time to go through week 3. And I think the image that most people are most familiar with here on the Adore book. So thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.